Good morning, class. Yesterday we were discussing about the paramyxoviruses, and one of the important diseases of domestic ruminants caused by the paramyxoviruses was rinderpest. So we have discussed about all about the rinderpest. So today we'll continue with another important disease caused by these group of viruses, which is Pestidis ruminans, that's PPR, which is almost similar to that of rinderpest. But before starting with this new disease, let's just recapitulate the important points regarding paramyxoviruses and rinderpest. So these paramyxoviruses, about the properties of these are pleomorphic. That means they vary in their shapes and sizes. Spherical to filamentous forms are there. Then if we talk about the diameter, that ranges from 150 nanometers to up to 300 nanometers. Then they have single stranded negative sense RNA, and most important characteristic feature of paramyxoviruses is their herringbone shaped helically symmetrical nucleocapsid. Very important point for you people. Then another important characteristic is they contain proteinaceous spikes, which are basically antigenic in nature. They are responsible for evoking immune response in the host, and antibodies are formed against these major spikes, and these spikes are your attachment protein and a fusion protein. And this attachment protein, that may be either hemagglutinin neuraminidase protein, or it may be protein without neuraminidase activity, which is G protein. So these were certain important properties. Then we have talked about the classification of paramyxoviruses. They come under order Mononegaviriales. Family is Paramyxoviridae, and इसमें दो सब families हैं. One is Paramyxoviridae and another is Pneumoviridae. Paramyxoviridae में कुछ important genuses they include Respirovirus, Morbillivirus and Rubella virus, जिसमें से हमने Morbillivirus की कुछ important diseases पढ़ी हैं, because हमारे veterinary point of view से this virus is very important under this family Paramyxoviridae. So Morbillivirus की हमने एक disease पढ़ी थी rinderpest, caused by rinderpest virus. Another important disease caused by such viruses Pestidis ruminans, and उसके अलावा एक और major disease is your canine distemper. So what we have seen in rinderpest is that they have a narrow host range. They infect mainly mammals and birds. Syncytia formation, intracytoplasmic inclusions, they are important characteristics of the paramyxoviruses. Then we have basically these paramyxoviruses, they cause respiratory infections, and they are transmitted through close contact or aerosols. Then this rinderpest, it's an acute viral disease of domestic cattle and buffaloes mainly, जो हम लोग encounter करते हैं clinical cases में. That's a disease of domestic cattle and buffaloes, even yaks, and it has got high morbidity, mortality rates. This rinderpest, it comes under list A of OIE. This was the classification of morbillivirus, basically rinderpest virus. Then we talked about epidemiology and pathogenesis. Pathogenesis में mainly देखा हमने कि if it enters by inhalation, which is the main route of the virus because it's mainly transmits through aerosols. So after inhalation, multiplication mainly occurs in the pharyngeal and mandibular lymph nodes. After that, a viremia develops within 3 days, after which it spreads to other lymphoid tissues and mucosa of mainly respiratory and digestive tracts. Then another very important feature of this disease is that leukopenia, severe leukopenia occurs, and immunosuppression. This is basically an immunosuppressive disease. So this was the main feature of this. Then clinical signs में हमने देखा mucosal erosions. Mainly पहले तो एक fever develops a fever, and animal becomes anorexic and depressed. Then main lesions include mucosal erosions in the mouth and nasal passages, which become evident within 5 days. Profuse salivation as a result of mucosal erosions. Profuse salivation is there, and oculonasal discharges, we can also encounter these. Then about 3 days after the appearance of mucosal ulcers, fever regresses and a profuse diarrhea develops. After these symptoms subsides, diarrhea develops. A profuse diarrhea is also a characteristic feature of rinderpest. Then it has got high mortality and high morbidity. So severely affected animals, they may collapse and die within 12 days of the onset of clinical disease. Plus, it can also cause abortion in the pregnant animals. Then if we talk about the diagnosis के लिए you need to have clinical and pathological findings. They are sufficient for the diagnosis, particularly in the endemic areas. Then in regions where the rinderpest is uncommon or absent, we need to go for lab confirmation. Then you can go for a reverse transcription PCR. ELISA is there. Then most important feature is your zebra stripes or zebra markings. If we go for detecting the post-mortem, if we go for post-mortem of such animals, then we can see the congestion of the folds of colonic mucosa, which produces zebra stripe-like pattern in the intestines. So this is a peculiar feature of rinderpest, as well as we can also encounter the same lesion in PPR as well. So this was about the diagnosis. You need to differentially diagnose such disease from other diseases because all have got almost similar characteristics, like bovine viral diarrhea, infectious bovine rhinotracheitis, FMD, salmonellosis. All such diseases, they have got almost similar clinical signs. So you need to differentially diagnose this disease from following diseases. Then to control, we have a major is vaccination and eradication programs. Vaccination is the first and foremost thing to control any pandemic, any epidemic, and any such disease, or if there is an outbreak of such disease. And apart from that, you can go for restriction of animal movement, quarantine, and slaughter of the infected animals. Now let's just start with another disease, that is Pestidis Pestitis ruminans, in short PPR. This condition is also referred to as goat plague. जैसे रिंडरपेस्ट को हम कैटल प्लेग बोलते हैं, इसी तरह PPR is goat plague. The disease is almost similar to that of rinderpest, but इसका characteristic is that it is mostly occurring in the small ruminants, particularly goats की है. That's why it's referred to as goat plague. So it is an acute contagious disease of ruminants, particularly goats. It is also caused by the same morbillivirus, PPR virus भी बोल सकते हैं, which is closely related to other members of the genus. So you can say that morbillivirus से जो भी diseases होती हैं, the virus that is disease is almost similar to that of all the other members of the same genus. Then PPR, which occurs in sub-Saharan Africa, the Middle East, India, and Pakistan, is a list A disease, like similar to that of rinderpest, which is also a list A disease of list A of OIA. PPR, it also comes under list A, and this is mostly occurring in sub-Saharan Africa. These are the areas where this PPR is mostly prevalent: the Middle East, India, and Pakistan. Then talking about the epidemiology of PPR, close contact is required for the transmission of this labile virus, which mainly occurs by aerosols. Aerosol transmission is important for the transmission. Then introduction of infection into a flock is invariably associated with the movement of animals. Although a carrier state is not known to occur, subclinical infection and the onset of viral shedding before the overt clinical signs facilitate the spread of infection. In West Africa, epidemics, they tend to occur during the rainy season, mainly when flocks, they are gathered together in preparation for sales. So basically in West Africa, region wise यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि किस तरह से this PPR spreads. So West Africa में epidemics they tend to occur mostly during the rainy seasons when these flocks are gathered together in preparation for their sales. Then infection rates, they are similar in sheep and goats, but the disease is generally more severe in goats. It's goat plague. Its name is given because this disease is more severe in case of goats as compared to sheep. Then if we talk about the pathogenesis is almost all similar to that of rinderpest. Mucosal erosions, you can also see the same signs and symptoms like mucosal erosions, profuse diarrhea. They are the main features of PPR as well as of rinderpest. इसका डिफरेंस भी आपको एग्जाम में पूछ सकते हैं rinderpest और PPR में. तो you can go for all the signs and symptoms which are particularly differentiated, but mainly mucosal erosions, profuse diarrhea, they are all similar. The main thing is that it occurs in a large ruminants. Rinderpest, PPR is mainly particularly in goats. That's why it's goat plague. Now during the acute phase of disease, acute phases में virus, it is secreted in all the secretions and body excretions. Now, clinical signs. The incubation period, it is of about 4 days. Rinderpest का भी हमने यही देखा था, 3 to, it's almost about 3 to 9 days. PPR का भी it is about 4 days. The disease is particularly severe in young animals. PPR is more severe in young animals. जो भी affected goats होंगी, they will first exhibit fever, there will be dry muzzle and serous nasal discharges, which later on they become mucopurulent. So this is also a main feature of main clinical signs which we see in goats which are affected by PPR. They exhibit fever, dry muzzle is there, and serous nasal discharges which later on become mucopurulent. Then you can also see the erosions on the mucous membrane of buccal cavity. They are accompanied by marked salivation, like similar to that of rinderpest. You have seen there as well. Then ulcers, they develop in the mucosa of alimentary, respiratory and urinary tract. Then other symptoms की बात करें, you can also see conjunctivitis with ocular discharge. That's a feature of this disease. Basically, if it's an acute stages में आपको ज़्यादातर symptoms यही देखने को मिलेंगे. High fever will be there, ulcerations, lesions, death, diarrhea. They are the major symptoms that you come across if there is acute case of PPR. Then subclinical या subacute forms होंगी, तो you can also see conjunctivitis with ocular discharges. Profuse diarrhea is always there, which results in dehydration. That dehydration develops within days of infection of that. Signs of tracheitis, pneumonia, they are common. Then another important point which I have mentioned there as well in the rinderpest, that is there is a severe leukopenia which facilitates secondary bacterial infection. Leukopenia is also a characteristic of rinderpest and both PPR. So severe leukopenia we come across or we encounter in PPR, which is particularly responsible for secondary bacterial infection. Then pulmonary infections caused by Pasteurella species, they are also common in later stages of the disease because it facilitates secondary bacterial infection. So it may in Pasteurella species they may also encounter in these stages of disease. Then pregnant animals, they may abort. Abortion is also there. Mortality rates in severe outbreaks, they often exceed 70%, and acutely affected goats, they may die within 10 days of exposure to the virus. So mortality rate is also high in PPR, but it was 100% in case of rinderpest. Then if we talk about sheep, the clinical signs in sheep, infection with PPRV is subacute and characterized by fever, nasal catarrh, mucosal erosions and intermittent diarrhea. These are the signs and symptoms which we see in sheep. Acute form तो mostly आपको goats में देखने को मिलेगी, and if we talk about the sheep, subacute form is mainly there, and subacute form is more common in sheep, wherein you can see fever, nasal catarrh, mucosal erosions and intermittent diarrhea. Then affected animals usually recover after 10 to 14 days. So subacute form is there in sheep, acute form is there in goats. Then diagnosis of PPR includes, first of all, you need to have the specimens for lab examination. They should be taken from animals which are in the acute phase of the disease. तो उसमें ज़्यादा chances होते हैं कि आप वायरस को पकड़ पाओ. तो that means you need to have the samples collected from the animals suffering from acute stages of the disease. Suitable specimens, they include nasal and ocular swabs, unclotted blood samples, and scrapings of buccal and rectal mucosae. Then samples of lung, spleen, and lymph node from animals which are slaughtered early in the course of disease, they are also suitable. If it's dead animal or slaughtered animals, you can also have the samples of lung, spleen, and lymph nodes. Then lab confirmation is based primarily on virus isolation in tissue culture and on antigen detection. Then we can go for rapid antigen detection methods like ELISA. They are immunological tests jitne bhi hai, ELISA, counter immunoelectrophoresis, AGID, they all are very important for detection. Then specific primers, we can go for PCR also. PCR से भी detect कर सकते हैं. These all test, immunological test are for जितनी भी viral diseases हैं उनमें common tests हैं lab में. You can go for ELISA, AGID, PCR is always there. Antibodies, they can be detected by virus neutralization or by competitive ELISA. So these were the diagnostic tests. Now, to talk about the control of this disease, slaughter policies, they are applied in countries which are free from PPR. Quarantine and vaccination, they are used in regions where the disease is endemic. Then modified live rinderpest vaccine, which provides adequate protection against PPRV as well. It has been used in sheep and goats for many years. So same vaccine, that was modified live rinderpest vaccine, that can be used in case of PPR as well. A modified live PPRV vaccine, it has recently been developed. So these are all the control measures. So control measures may always vaccination is there, slaughter policies, slaughter of the affected animals, quarantine, and uh, control measures with disinfection, sanitation. All these points are very much important for controlling a disease. So another important, very important disease, mainly of the dogs, canines particularly, that is canine distemper. This is also caused by the same group of viruses, same genus, that's morbillivirus, under the family Paramyxoviridae. Very important disease for you people. कैनाइन डिस्टेम्पर के काफ़ी सारे केसेस हम क्लिनिक्स में एनकाउंटर करते हैं. सो दिस इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डिजीज़ for you to understand. So do listen to this particularly. You need to remember all the peculiar features and characteristic signs and symptoms जो मैं अभी आपको बताऊंगी और साथ साथ important भी बता दूंगी जो भी हैं points. So उनको mark कर लेना. Let's start with canine distemper now. Canine distemper, it is a contagious, incurable, often fatal, multi-systemic viral disease that affects the respiratory, gastrointestinal, and central nervous systems. So this disease basically infects all the main systems, that's respiratory, GIT tract, and central nervous system. So that's highly contagious, incurable disease and fatal disease of canines. So this canine distemper virus, it occurs among domestic dogs and many other carnivores, including raccoons, skunks, and foxes, and it is fairly common in wildlife as well. So you can see the cases of CD, canine distemper, in almost all the domestic as well as wild species of canines and carnivores. This highly contagious disease of dogs and other carnivores has a worldwide distribution. Canine distemper virus, it is a pantropic morbillivirus. You need to see the tropism. You need to have an idea of the tropism of a particular virus. Like canine distemper is pantropic, that means it has the tropism for almost all the organs in the body. Like for example, कुछ viruses ऐसे होते हैं which are epitheliotropic. They have the tropism or affinity mainly towards the epithelium of present in all the organs or structures. Particularly epithelium को attack करते हैं. They are epitheliotropic. जो basically nerves को, neurons को attack करें, they are neurotropic. Likewise, the CD is a pantropic morbillivirus. Pantropic means it has affinity for almost all the organs of the body and produces a generalized infection involving many organ system. So this is an important point, that CD virus is pantropic in nature. That's one objective for you people regarding canine distemper. Then let's start with the epidemiology of the disease. Now, the outbreaks of disease, they have been documented in several wildlife species, including foxes, skunks, raccoons, black-footed ferrets and lions. जितने भी wild carnivores हैं और domestic हैं, तो उन सब में CD का outbreak have been encountered or documented. The virus is relatively labile, requiring transmission by direct contact or by aerosols. है तो morbillivirus है, and morbillivirus का same feature है, that's labile and that requires transmission by direct contact or by aerosol route. In urban dog population, the virus is maintained by infection in susceptible animals. So infection, this spreads rapidly among young dogs, usually between 3 to 6 months of age. When maternally derived immunity, it declines. So mostly जो आप cases encounter करोगे वो pups में होंगे और young dogs which are almost about 3 to 6 months of age. The number of dogs in population in rural areas is often too low to maintain continuous infection, with the result that irrespective of the age, unvaccinated dogs, they are susceptible and significant outbreaks of the disease can occur. Simple enough to understand. Then pathogenesis of the diseases. The virus, which replicates in the upper respiratory tract, it spreads to the tonsils and bronchial lymph nodes. Then a cell-associated viremia, it follows with the spread to other lymphoreticular tissues. Then viral replication produces lymphocytolysis and leukopenia. Leukopenia is a characteristic of morbillivirus. You have seen a severe leukopenia in previous two cases, that is in rinderpest as well as in PPR. Then you can also see the same leukopenia resulting in immunosuppression and allowing a secondary viremia to develop in CD as well. Now, the extent of spread to tissues and organs, it is determined by the rapidity and effectiveness of the immune response. Then, in the absence of a sufficiently vigorous response, dissemination and replication of CD virus occurs in the respiratory, gastrointestinal, urinary, and central nervous systems. And the spread to skin may also occur. So this is basically a pantropic virus, so it has affinity to move to all the tissues and organs. So basically आपने क्या देखा pathogenesis में, if it's mainly entering, the virus is entering by aerosols में से enter करने के बाद it will replicate in the upper respiratory tract. अपर रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट में जो भी आपके एल्वियोलर एपिथेलियम होगी उसमें इट विल मल्टीप्लाई एंड इट विल मूव और स्प्रेड टू द टॉन्सिल्स एंड ब्रोंक्यूलर lymph nodes. Bronchular lymph nodes में पहुंचने के बाद there will be a primary viremia जिससे कि it will enter the blood. A cell associated viremia or primary viremia, it which follows with the spread to other lympholiticular tissues. Then after entering the blood, viremia develops. It will spread to other organs as well. First it will produce lymphocytolysis and leukopenia, then it will spread to other tissues and organs, mainly thymus, spleen, bone marrow, wherein a secondary viremia develops. Secondary viremia भी होगा, उसके बाद second fever भी होगा. There is a biphasic fever which occurs in case of CD. Then, in the absence of sufficient vigorous response, dissemination and replication occurs in respiratory, GIT, urinary, and central nervous system. And skin may be spread. The virus spreads from cell to cell. Without being exposed to the immune system, it spreads from cells to cells. This virus, it infects both the neurons and glial cells within the central nervous system. And it may persist there for very long periods. इसी डिजीज़ को एक और नाम दिया गया, दैट्स ओल्ड डॉग एन्सेफेलाइटिस, विच इज़ अपेरेंटली एसोसिएटेड विद द प्रोलॉन्ग परसिस्टेंस ऑफ द वायरस इन द ब्रेन. सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम में भी मल्टीप्लाई करता है एंड इट परसिस्ट इन द ब्रेन फॉर लॉन्गर पीरियड्स, possibly as a result of non-cytolytic spread from cell to cell without budding from the cell membrane, thus evading the immune detection. So this disease has also been given the name old dog encephalitis. ये भी आपसे पूछ सकते हैं. Old dog encephalitis is a synonym for, so do remember this, another name for canine distemper. This mechanism, it appears to be analogous to that causing subacute sclerosing panencephalitis of children, which is associated with persistent infection with the defective measles virus. Now, the presence of viral antigen in these conditions stimulates a low-grade, prolonged inflammatory response, eventually leading to the development of neurological signs. So, basically, it is infecting all such organ. It spreads from cells to cell without being exposed to the immune system. So, it will result in panencephalitis. It will result in neurological signs. Baki, it's entering in the GIT. So it will result in enteritis, diarrhea. It's affecting almost all the organs, but central nervous system is mainly infected if there is a case of CD. So you will also see certain neurological signs, like जो हमने जैसे पर्टिकुलर मैं अपनी बात करूँ, अगर मैंने CD का केस एक देखा था 4th ईयर में, उसमें जो साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स थे मेनली ट्रेमर्स और शिवरिंग इन ऑल द बॉडी ऑर्गन्स. It was tremors and shivering is because it's also a severe neurological sign. So you will often come across with these neurological signs in the pups. That's a severe indication of CD, canine distemper. Now we'll see this clinical signs. Clinical signs में the incubation period is usually about 1 week, but may extend to 4 weeks or more when the nervous signs appear without prior evidence of infection. Then the severity and duration of illness, they are variable and are influenced by the virulence of the infecting virus, the age of immune status of the infected animal, and the rapidity of its immune response to infection. The pyrexic response to infection is biphasic, although the initial elevation of temperature may not be noticed. Pyrexia will be there, And during the second period of pyrexia, oculonasal discharges, pharyngitis, and tonsillar enlargement, they become evident. Coughing, vomiting, diarrhea, they are often the consequences of secondary infection. Okay, it's affecting all the organs. Pyrexia fever is also always there. Oculonasal discharges, pharyngitis, tonsillar enlargement, they are also there. Then, as a result of this coughing, vomition, diarrhea, they are also the consequences of secondary infections. Then a skin rash and pustules, because it also spreads to the skin. You have seen there that it also spreads to all the organs and as well as to the skin. So skin rashes, pustules, they may be present in on the abdomen. Some affected dogs, they have hyperkeratosis of the nose and foot pads, which is referred to as hard pad. So CD का एक और नाम, एक आपने देखा था old dog encephalitis, another name is hard pad disease. So CD is also referred to as hard pad disease because as a result of replication of the virus in the skin and epithelial cells, there is a hyperkeratosis of foot pads, which is known as hard pad. So CD is also called as hard pad disease. This is also another important point or feature of CD. Mark it as important. Then acute disease, which may last for a few weeks, is followed either by recovery and lifelong immunity or by the development of neurological signs, and eventually death is there in acute cases. Common neurological signs, they include paresis, myoclonus, and epileptic form seizures. They are also there. So these are the main neurological signs, that is paralysis may be there, myoclonus, these are myoclonic tremors are there, or scissors are there, epileptic form scissors you can see. These are the main or common neurological signs. A grave prognosis is indicated in animals displaying neurological disturbance. Residual neurological deficits, they are common in dogs that survive the resulting disease. Then old dog encephalitis, which is characterized by motor and behavioral deterioration, it is invariably fatal. So old dog encephalitis and hard pad, these two are other synonyms for the same disease, and these are the common signs and symptoms which you see or come across in the case of CD. Then, about the diagnosis of the disease. A febrile catarrhal illness with neurological sequel in young dogs is highly suggestive of canine distemper. So first of all, कोई भी case आएगा, you will first see the signs and symptoms. तो signs and symptoms में mainly catarrhal illness, neurological signs और fever आपको अगर young dogs में देख रहे हैं तो it's always suggestive of, or it's highly suggestive of canine distemper. Then ये तो था साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द लैब डिटेक्शन में यू कैन गो फॉर checking the viral antigen that may be demonstrated by immunofluorescence test in conjunctival or vaginal impression smears. So these are basically samples to be collected from the animal. Conjunctival smear ले सकते हो, vaginal impression smears from the buffy coat. Then cryostat sections of the lymph nodes, urinary bladder and cerebellum, they are also suitable for the demonstration of viral antigen. Eosinophilic inclusion bodies can be demonstrated in the nervous and epithelial tissues. So inclusion bodies भी आप detect कर सकते हो, and these are mainly seen in the nervous and epithelial tissues in case of CD. Then serological demonstration either of the IgM antibodies or of a fourfold rise in the antibody titer between acute and convalescent sera. This may also be determined by virus neutralization test, ELISA, or indirect immunofluorescence, IFT. So antibody may be detected in cerebrospinal fluid. CSF में भी आप antibodies अगर देख लें तो it is highly suggestive of it's short indication of CD. Virus isolation, it may prove difficult. Urinary bladder and brain, they are suitable post-mortem specimens for virus isolation. Then cells from the buffy coat of heparinized blood, they are also suitable. So basically we can to diagnose the CD, we can go for signs and symptoms, and if we talk about the lab detection, we can go for detecting viral antigen by immunofluorescence. You can take vaginal or conjunctival impression smears from the cell. Then viral antigen के अलावा आप eosinophilic inclusion bodies demonstrate कर सकते हो epithelial tissues में, nervous tissues में. Then antibody detection test में we have ELISA, IFT, virus neutralization test. Antibodies can also be detected in your in the CSF. वायरस आइसोलेशन डिफ़िकल्ट है इस केस में, बट बाकी वायरस आइसोलेशन के लिए स्पेसिमेंस सूटेबल आर ब्लैडर एंड ब्रेन. So these were all diagnostic tests for CD. Now the control measures. Control measures were there. We have vaccines, certain vaccines for CD, that is modified live vaccines, which are available commercially. They provide adequate protection when administered to the pups. After maternally derived antibody, it has declined to the negligible levels, usually after 12 weeks of age. Then most of the CD vaccines, they are produced from egg adapted or avian cell culture adapted strains. These are two strains, Ondas Depot strain or from canine cell culture adapted virus, which is your rock-borne strain. So these two strains are basically used for vaccine preparation. Now, because post-vaccinal encephalitis, it has been reported occasionally following the use of canine cell culture adapted strains, the avian cell culture adapted strain is considered to be safer. So if you want to go for manufacturing the vaccine for CD, they are saying that avian cell culture adapted strain is safer as compared to the canine cell culture adapted strain. Then heterotypic measles virus vaccines, they have also been used in young pups to induce protection in the presence of moderate levels of maternally derived antibodies. Although many dogs they remain immune for several years following vaccination, a proportion of vaccinated animal it may become susceptible after a year. So, for 1 year, the vaccine effectiveness it remains there, but कुछ proportion ऐसा है that becomes susceptible after a year. Because of the labile nature of the virus, control can be achieved after an outbreak of the disease in kennels by strict isolation and disinfection. So that's the first and the foremost: vaccination, isolation and disinfection, quarantine. Then these all are the important measures for control of any viral disease. So we are done with the paramyxoviruses. Then in the next week we'll take up another family of viruses. So this was all about the important diseases. So we have dealt with the morbillivirus mainly. The disease under paramyxoviridae is your morbillivirus caused diseases, that's rinderpest, PPR and CD, and these all are closely related diseases because they are caused by the same genus, that's morbillivirus. Okay, this was all for today. We'll meet in the next week. Till then, take care and have a nice day.